Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Report. And coming up here on today's show, it's a mailbag, which simply means I ask the nation, hey, send me all your questions. Tell me what you're thinking. We recorded this on May 28th, so just please keep that as a friendly reminder in case anything changes based on any of the questions that you see. If you're like, Mitch, how do I be a part of your next mailbag? You got to watch our live show. We go live every single Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Pacific, and I'll keep throwing out this challenge. If these mailbag shows keep getting 1,000 likes, I'm going to keep doing them. So if this show gets 1,000 likes, I'm going to do another mailbag next week. And next week, it's going to be a good week for me. I got my buddy. It's his bachelor party. It's going to be a hell of a time. Let's go to the very first question here on the Raiders Report from Cameron Sproul. Mitch, any package of picks/current players we could trade for a quarterback? You could trade for a quarterback. To me, I'll just continuously say the number one quarterback most likely that the Raiders would trade for is Trey Lance. And the only reason why that I say that is because, again, Rich Scangarillo, the Raiders quarterback coach, was a part of the 49ers regime back in 2021 when they gave up 3 first-round picks. Go up get Trey Lance. Lance right now is the third quarterback on that depth chart, but like QB to actually help you win football games? No. Trey Lance is not an upgrade over Gardner Minshew. Trey Lance is not an upgrade over Aidan O'Connell. I would rather have both of those guys over Trey. But for this question, you're not trading for a Kirk Cousins. You're not trading for a starting quarterback in the NFL. The best quarterback you're going to get is Trey Lance. And I don't really know if I want Trey Lance. Let's go to Akash. Just joined, but I seen a rumor about a Lance trade. There might be rumors. This has been something that I personally have talked about multiple times, and because of everything that I just mentioned. But again, if the Raiders want to go out and they want to trade for Trey Lance, I'm saying 7th round pick in the 2025 NFL draft. Hell, 7th round pick in the 2026 NFL draft might be enough to get that one done. Let's go to Raiders 75. From what you've heard, who has been better between Minshew and Aidan? I'm guessing you're talking about OTAs, and again, I will say that the media coverage has not been great. The Raiders have not really allowed any beat reporters or media in general to get a lot of news and notes, but you guys know I am somebody that sits up here and says, I think Gardner's the better quarterback. I'm sitting up here saying that I believe Gardner is going to be the week 1 starting QB, but based off the notes and based off the things that I have received, there is one clear winner at Raiders OTAs right now at the quarterback position, and his name is Aidan O'Connell. I'll also say that Aidan, from what I understand, has been the better leader. Like, this is his team. He's also the quarterback that just has gone out there and seems like he is commanding the offense better. Like, still a lot of things to learn here for Gardner. Both teams have to learn 2 totally different playbooks and from top to bottom. But in the very, very limited practices that I have gotten information on, Aidan O'Connell is in the lead over Gardner Minshew. But how about this? Who are you hoping starts week 1? We've had a lot of interesting tidbits of Chris Sims talking about how neither of these quarterbacks are top 38 in the league. I'm just hoping whoever goes out there gives us the best chance. And I'll tell you this, if Aidan goes out and wins the job, and he can go out and prove that he is the better quarterback than Gardner Minshew, quite frankly, I don't care who starts week 1. I just want to win football games. Let's go to Big Luck. What do you believe needs to happen to get AP an extension? The only way Antonio Pierce is getting an extension, first off, he's not going to get one after this season. I shouldn't say that. The only way AP is getting an extension after this season is if they win the AFC West and they make a deep playoff run. The deep playoff run would, I don't know if it means making the Super Bowl, but you definitely have to make the AFC Championship game. I still think that you have to make the Super Bowl for him to get an extension. The AP extension, though, that one's not going to happen for at least a year, maybe 2 after 2025, 2026. Trivan! Bang! Trivan, Mount Raider Moore, said, you know what, Mitch? I'm down to bang if you're down to bang. Trivan, the day that I'm recording this, it is a Tuesday. I don't drink on Tuesdays, but you know what? I got a deal for the people watching live. It'll be after I change my jersey. One shot. What's the 3 players you think will break out on the Raiders this year? 3 players that I think could break out. Tyree Wilson absolutely has to be on that list of names, and I just think he got thrown a really shitty deal last year with the whole Chandler Jones situation and an unhealthy foot. So I'm going to say Tyree Wilson's going to be an interesting breakout player this year. I'll say Michael Mayer is going to put up better numbers than what some people think just because they got Brock Bowers, but I do see both of them being on the field a little bit more. I'm hoping Aidan O'Connell falls in on this list, no doubt. And then I guess the final name that I'm going to go with here with like true breakout potential. We know Malcolm Kuntz really well, but I do think Malcolm's going to make even more of a case for himself this upcoming season. And then I want like Dylan Parham to break out. I want Trey Tucker to break out. So Tyree Wilson, though, is the big name. Let's go to Manny Bruce Salvador. Mitch, what is our starting O-line week 1? I'm going to say Colton Miller at left tackle. Left guard is going to be Jackson Powers Johnson. At center is going to be Andre James. Right guard, Dylan Parham. Right tackle, Thayer Munford. And this has been something that I've kind of broken down before on the show. If you want to go check out a video that I made about 2 weeks ago, I kind of illustrate that the Raiders have already revealed what their offensive line plans are. I know that not everybody is subscribed to the show. Not everybody is always watching. But if you want to go check out the video where I literally say the Raiders offensive line is revealed, go check it out right here. We'll put that video for you up there. But also, like, we're pumping out a lot of content on this show. I know that in the offseason, people miss some of the things that we say. But, like, if you ever think of a question like you just asked right there on that, you can go on YouTube and type that question in and type Raiders Report. Guarantee you we've already made a video on it. I do want to give a shout-out, though, to the Noti Gang, people that are R-subbed and take a lot of pride in trying to be one of the very first people to comment on a Raiders Report show. So shout-out to David, Carly's Kruger, King Sanchez, and Big Word. Believe me when I tell you it doesn't go unnoticed. I see it all the time. Chugs and I greatly appreciate it. Eric M., I heard Miller is still having issues with his shoulder. How many just win babies that he starts week 1? I'm still going to go for just win babies that Colton Miller starts week 1. I'll say this. Colton is still dealing with something. It's too early, though, to get worried about it, right? Is Colton dealing with something from last season? I can't really confirm nor deny all that, but I do know that Miller is still dealing with something that has the Raiders' medical staff's attention, right? If you're working on the sidelines during OTA practices where you're not ruled out, but you are like getting your own like one-on-ones, that usually means that you're dealing with something. I was also told that that's also partly one of the reasons why the Raiders went out and signed Andres Pete, and one of the reasons why Antonio Pierce literally said out loud that he's only going to be playing on that left side. I was also told that it's one of the reasons why that they're very confident in Thayer Munford and that they want Munford to really show out and show up as the right tackle for this team. Let's go to Lord Cameron Abbott. I've heard rumors about a trade for Mitchell Renz for quarterback. He has a 70-yard arm. Your thoughts? I do know this. I can still outthrow Jimmy Garoppolo. Y'all thought I was crazy last year when I said I could throw a football further than Jimmy G. I can throw a football further than Jimmy G. What does Aidan O'Connell have to do to be the man for us? Just got to win the competition with Gardner. Like, I think that's literally it. He's gotten the first chance to get the first reps, and based on everything that I have understood, he's winning this battle right now, but he's winning the battle because he hasn't lost the battle. Like, does that make sense? Like, you're not going to decide who's going to be the Raiders starting quarterback in May, June, July. Hell, they might not even decide after a preseason game or two. This decision is going to go down to the very, very final days of August. And if I'm Antonio Pierce and I'm Telesco, I'm not telling anybody who's the starting quarterback until you see who's the week 1 starting QB. I want the Chargers to prepare for Gardner. I want the Chargers to prepare for Aidan O'Connell, because that means them. If they're preparing for both, they're not going to be as prepared for whoever gets out there. Let's go to Sean. Do you think Crosby finally gets his respect and win Defensive Player of the Year? Do I think he's finally going to start getting more respect? I hope so. I think it really comes down to, do the Raiders win games? Like, people know how great Crosby is. People around the NFL, Max is a household name. I mean, he is. He's one of the best in the biz. To win Defensive Player of the Year, he needs more sacks. Christian Wilkins is going to open up that ability for him to get more sacks and, bring him back Adam Butler, John Jenkins, same exact thing. I still want the Raiders to potentially add another nose tackle into this mix. But, like, Defensive Player of the Year, the only way that that's going to happen is if the Raiders win football games. So if you think the Raiders are going to win, the answer is yes. Autumn win. Mitch, since Dylan Laube is impressing so much, who is at risk to get cut more, Ameer Abdullah or Alexander Mattison? It's kind of an interesting question. Abdullah's going to have more work from special teams, where Mattison, I thought was going to be the RB2. And I mean, as it stands right now, Mattison is still the RB2. And based on your question here, I would say Ameer Abdullah is more at risk of not making this roster than Alexander. Now, obviously, if you guys want to get your votes in here, please don't be shy, do so. I will say this. Ameer Abdullah is number 8, so he took Josh Jacobs' number. Alexander Mattison's 22. That was Abdullah's number last season. So whoever you think's more at risk is the number that I want you to type down below. I'm going to type Ameer number 8 because of the skill set that Laube has. I already think Laube might be better than Ameer Abdullah, if I'm being real. But what's going to keep Alexander Mattison on this team is his ability to pass protect. He's one of the best pass protecting running backs in the passing game, especially in the National Football League. Let's go to Brandon Jasper. Honestly, do you miss DC, and do you think we be better? Would we be better with Derek Carr at quarterback? Yeah, we would have been better last season. But again, you'd be better with any quarterback compared to last season. The Raiders legitimately had the worst quarterback play in the NFL last season. You name anybody, and it's an upgrade compared to what we had last season. But do I miss DC as the Raiders quarterback? No. I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times. The best thing that the Raiders did was they moved on from DC. Great human being. But you have to be able to get to a point where it's mediocrity cannot be enough. Yeah, you risk being worse, but I'd rather you risk being worse than you being comfortable with being mediocre. What up, LCA? What's Jackson Powers-Johnson issue for walking off the field the other day? I do not know, and I'm not going to sit up here and, blow smoke up your you-know-what. I have reached out to JPJ's representatives. I have reached out to JPJ. I have reached out to as many people as humanly possible that are well connected with Jackson Powers-Johnson. To be frank, I do not have an answer on this, and I am worried. I'm not going to be lying to y'all. The number one worry about JPJ of why he fell in the draft was the injury concerns. I'm very concerned because I'm not getting any information that I usually can get, and the fact that I'm not getting any information makes me wondering, are the Raiders trying to just hide something, or is it really just nothing to even talk about? But yeah, I'm worried. What up, Java? Would you trade for Marcus Mariota? Absolutely not. If I'm going to trade for any player, okay, especially a quarterback, I got to feel like I have an upgrade at the QB position. Marcus Mariota, I want to say he's got a 1-year deal at $6 million right now. I don't think Mariota's a top 50 quarterback in the NFL. Mariota, yeah, he can run a little bit, but there is nothing that he can do at this point in his career. And maybe you didn't watch him last season. If you get the opportunity, go watch how bad he was last year. Mariota is not a starting quarterback in the NFL, and I don't know if many teams think that I don't think he's top 50 QB. So, no, I'm not trading for Mariota. Nav, man, what's up, man? Are we worried about the Davis legacy now that Mark is not the daddy? I'm not worried about this at all. I literally told Jeremy, I go, somebody's going to ask me a question today about this. If you haven't seen, there was a lot of speculation last week that, what's her name? I can't even think of her name. Hayden Hopkins, she's a, Instagram model. She was pictured sitting next to Mark Davis at a football game last season. She posted on social media that she's pregnant, and everybody, and I mean everybody, was like, oh, it's Mark Davis's baby. I will say, though, we said on this show that you can't speculate anything in that regard. It has come out that Mark Davis is not the father, hence why you see Mario on our live thumbnail today. But I'm not. I want to try to keep this as Raiders related as I possibly can. But yes, I knew I was going to get asked this. Mark Davis is not the father. Oh, no, man. Mari. I mean, there might be a show where we just do that. Mari, Mitchell. We just got to figure out you. Chug's just going to be the catch me outside. How about that? We can do it. We can make it happen. If I missed your question or if you see more things pop up, hey, don't be afraid to give me a follow on IG at Mitchell Renz 365. I'm also doing a lot more in terms of just keeping you guys up to date on some of the little news bits that happen every single day around this team on Twitter, also known as X, at Mitchell Renz 365. Bottom line is a lot of stuff happens. Not everything that I tweet out, not everything that I post on IG always makes the show. So to legitimately make sure that you never miss anything, follow us on social media. And I think the other reason why you should follow Jeremy is we do a lot of giveaways, we do a lot of prizes, and not everybody can hit me up on Venmo. Not everybody can hit me up on social media. My DMs get crowded. Hit up Jeremy to claim some prizes at Jeremy Chugs. He is the one that makes this show possible after all.